Okay.
All right,
Lonnie,
Molly, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Jody B, ready?
I'm always ready.
Jeff, ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Hello and welcome to Disney with the Ducks. I am your host for tonight, Lonnie G, and I am joined by a plethora of ducks and a special guest. But before we introduce her, let's see how the ducks doing today. So, Jody B, how are you doing?
I am awesome. Hi, friends. How are you?
Good deal. Jeff, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Lonnie.
Okay. We also have a cardboard cutout of Gene. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can see him in his natural state, which is confusion. And then we have our special guest for tonight, and that's Molly. Molly, how are you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. This is going to be a great episode. Hot off of, yep, there you go, Jeff. Perfect. Hot off of her recent accomplishment at Disneyland. Molly is going to be talking about West Coast running tonight. So this is episode 153. Thank you guys so much for joining. All right, Jeff, you can put those down. For joining us tonight. Man, where are we going wrong already? So yeah. So before we do, as we always do, if you like what you hear and you would like what you see, if you actually were watching YouTube, please get on your algorithm of choice and give us a couple of stars, a rating. 5 would be nice. We shoot for 5, but we'll never set our expectations. We're pretty sure we'll probably get under 5. Molly makes it a 5, but if she wasn't on here, we'd probably be averaging about 2.5. That's usually our average. But of course, Jeff's on tonight, so maybe you'll give us an extra star just for that. So algorithm of choice, it helps people find us. Please go on and look for us, right? So, but as we always do, we like to get started with a question so that you guys can get to know us better. So, Jody B, do you have a question for us tonight?
Yes. So we're talking West Coast running. And oh my goodness, you guys, over a year ago, we were all out on the West Coast running, having a good old time out in Disneyland. So I thought I'd talk about one of our favorite subjects, food, because, that's the only reason we all run is to eat. So I was just curious, what was one of your favorite things that you ate when you were out in Disneyland? So Molly, you are the guest for the evening. We'd love to hear from you. What is one thing that you had in Disneyland that you were really happy about?
So there are a couple, but I think I will mention one. Excuse me. So I had heard about the Little Red Wagon corn dogs. I don't know if that qualifies as a snack or
It could be a meal snack.
what exactly it is. It comes with a bag of chips, so that's totally meal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually the first thing that I ate when I got to Disneyland. I walked in the gates. I went straight to that cart. I ordered that. Best corn dog I've ever had in my life. Probably because I was just there, but like the batter was good. The hot dog was good. The whole thing. Loved it. I actually had one a couple days later. So I had 2 while I was there.
Smart woman.
We had several of those at that.
I think I had about 7.
Every time we walked past, I remember me and Tim were just grabbing corn dogs the entire trip.
Mm-hmm. We were double fisting corn dogs.
Right.
I mean, very good choice. I mean, literally. He was like, we can keep these chips. That's a filler. We want straight corn dogs.
So good. Did you try the tomatillo cheese? Did you get there was a special cheese add-on that I didn't know what was in it and just ordered it, and it was tomatillos in the cheese. So good. Really elevated it. That was just my second corn dog. The first one was ketchup, but the second one was so much better.
Did not know about this.
No, we did not know about this. Look, you heard it here first. Breaking news, Molly already adding value. Get the cheese. We had no idea. We was just doing corn dogs.
Get the cheese for sure.
Okay.
Who knew?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
What about you, Jody B?
My favorite thing I think I had the whole time we were out there was at the storyteller's breakfast that we all went to, the character breakfast. I have no idea what it was. It was the Mexican breakfast dish. Anyone know what it was called? I tried to look it up, but they just say it's a buffet, so they don't tell you the menu items on there. But that was delicious, and I ate a lot of them, and they were really, really yummy, and I was very happy with them. So that was probably high up on my list. I don't know. We had good stuff at what was the bar restaurant, that the one that we sat at the tiny tables?
Oh, Lamplighters. It was not Lamplighters.
Carnation.
Yes,
Carnation. Yeah.
That had some good food too, but at the moment I can't think of it. But yeah, I'm sticking with Storytellers Breakfast.
Jeff, what about you, sir? What's your
I'm not going to say Napa Rose, which I'm pretty sure that would not have been high on any of our lists, which should have been probably our best food there. I'm going to go with, would have been the corn dog nuggets, but instead I'll go with the mac and cheese bread bowl at that place where you got the sourdough bread, Jody.
Oh yeah, Baymax, my Baymax bread.
Yeah, your Baymax bread. They had a mac and cheese filled bread bowl there as well. That was really good.
Carb on carbs, yum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really waited in line for that bad boy. That was what's it, San Fran, Tokyo?
Yeah.
In there? Yeah. Pretty good.
Worth the wait.
By the way, I figured out the name of the thing. It's chilaquiles. That's the breakfast dish thing that they.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now you know.
It was excellent. And a lot of characters. The characters stayed at the table. It was fantastic. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go with something that it took us 2 times to get it. There was almost a fight the first time. But of course, ducks, we know how to behave when we're in the wild. But I'm gonna go with the lobster nachos. Lobster nachos, couldn't get it the first time, got it the second time. A must. Go with the lobster nachos.
And again, if you haven't listened to that episode and you haven't heard about it, it's either 151 or 153 if you want to hear about the lobster nacho drama, because there was some drama. So anyway, well, that was fun. Also, one quick thing, Lonnie, not that I'm mad that you forgot to say it, but if you have an opportunity, please also join our Facebook page, because one of the questions I'm going to ask is, what is your favorite thing that you had in Disneyland? And I'm sure everyone's going to want to tell us, because it's, food is a passion of everyone, and we're just going to have to talk about it a little bit. So, so join our Facebook page if you haven't, and you can join in on all these fun conversations. This last one, we had a lot of conversation about split stays. Woo, there's a lot of response on that. People are very passionate about split stays.
Thank you so much, Jody, for keeping me honest.
Yes, someone had to. So.
It's only, look, it's only been 152 episodes, right? I think I would know better by now.
Only, yeah.
So Gene.
Yes.
Thank you for swapping out the cardboard cutout for real Gene.
Thanks.
What is your favorite meal at Disneyland?
Disneyland?
Yes.
Well, I mean, so there's so many to choose from.
Exactly.
Right.
Probably the popcorn. Let's go with the popcorn.
The last time I was there, I went to Jack Daniel's Grill, maybe, and I remember it being a pretty phenomenal. That was at Disney Springs, right, downtown Disney, right in Disneyland. Yeah or no? Why are you looking at me like that? How about House of Blues? I know there's that there. Yeah, at Disneyland, Disney Springs, or downtown Disney. There was in 1992 when I went.
There is popcorn there, so let's go with popcorn. So Gene loves the popcorn, and we are going to get started.
I'm not going to take this harassment tonight. I'm telling you, I don't remember this that poorly.
I tried to get it out, man.
Keep going.
I soft pitched the popcorn because the popcorn is always good. You went with, I don't know what you went with. So anyway, as we were saying, let's not misbehave. We got a special guest. Molly, thank you so much for taking time out to join us tonight to talk about your adventures, West Coast running. So you went out to Disneyland to run. Did you run the challenge, or what did you run?
I ran all 3.
I mean, if you're going, you might as well run everything.
Might as well, right? Exactly.
I mean, so yeah, that's our motto. But Molly, just so you know, I do hate running. So tell us about your travel in. When did you go in?
So I flew in on Wednesday morning, coming from Rhode Island. So very long flight, but everything went according to plan. I woke up that morning at 3:30, bright and early. So in addition to waking up super early and then gaining 3 hours going out to the West Coast, I was feeling great. I'm like, I've got the whole day. This is awesome. This is also my first time going to Disneyland. Well, I should qualify that. So I did go when I was in 8th grade, and I'm sure my parents will be very dismayed to know this, that I don't remember a thing. Like literally walking down Main Street, all of it, nothing rang a bell. So I consider this to be my first trip to Disneyland. So I was
eerily similar to Gene.
yeah, on the same page, exactly.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it was exciting. So traveling there to do the races and never having been. So like I said earlier, I got there, dropped my bags at the hotel, and was like, I am going to get a corn dog. I've heard about this corn dog. I'm thrilled. My first stop. I feel like other people would want to see or do something else. No, just straight there.
Okay.
Smart woman. So
Very cool.
Disneyland race weekend was the 23rd, 24th, 25th of January. Is that? Or was
It was no, it started the 5K was on January 31st.
Oh,
and then
okay.
February 1st and 2nd were the 10K and the half.
Got it. Sorry, I had the wrong weekend. Well, I think that was a great change by Run Disney and not doing back to back like they did last year. I think having a little bit of a buffer between marathon weekend and Disneyland race weekend was a smart choice. So January 31st, and you flew out, you said on Wednesday, the 29th?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
So where did you stay? Did you stay on Disneyland
I
campus?
did not. I was at one of the Good Neighbor hotels. I was at the Fairfield Anaheim,
Oh,
which
awesome.
which was great. I had a friend recommend that, said it was really close to the entrance, and it was. I timed it. My very first day walking out the hotel door to security took me 7 minutes, which being a Disney World person, that was phenomenal. I mean, and that included waiting for a crosswalk to change. It's like this
That
is
crosswalk takes a long time.
it does. It really does. But I was like, this is wild that it is truly this close. I mean, out the front of the hotel, you can see Space Mountain. I mean, it's right there. It's so different than Disney World. So coming in as an adult, experiencing all of this, I'm like, this is great. I see why people love this so much. Everything's so accessible and so close. And the two parks are right there. You walk through security, you go to the right, it's Disneyland. You look to the left, it's California Adventure. You're like, your mind is blown. It's great.
Yeah, we all stayed off-site as well, just like you. We thought it was. In fact, some of the off-site Good Neighbor hotels are closer than the Disneyland hotels, right? So, wise decision to kind of just stay there, and still you have access to everything. So, good deal.
Definitely. Yeah, and the price was great. I really didn't spend too much time in the hotel, so for me, the amenities were fine. I wasn't looking to sit in the pool. I wasn't looking for a restaurant. I really just needed a place to sleep. Places like sleep 5 hours every night, since you never sleep during race weekends. And so
Right.
it worked out great. And especially with the way the Disneyland races are laid out, not to jump too far ahead, but the way that you get to the 10K and the half is slightly different than the 5K. So the location of the hotel was even better for those 2 mornings.
Yeah, a very good point. I can't wait to hear about that. I want to see if, and I didn't look at the actual race itself, but I wonder if it has the same start line. Jody, did you take a look at that to see if it was the same spot?
I did not. Was it in a parking lot, like just down the street from the Fairfield?
Oh, yeah, so
It
it was
was,
the same.
yes.
Yeah, so
There's
you were
kind of
close.
an alley you cut through between 2 hotels. Yes.
Yep.
That you don't notice until the morning of the race when it's lit up with purple lights. You're like, oh, I didn't see that before.
Yeah, I mean, look, the day before, if you walk through that shady alley, something else will be going on. But it's some race weekend, boom, it's just awesome. I mean, it's lit up. So yeah, good deal. Good deal.
So Molly, just curious, what airport did you fly into? Because that's also a big decision going out to the West Coast.
Yes, I flew into LAX, which is a little bit of a drive. I usually fly Delta, and there were a lot of nonstops from Boston to LAX, so that worked out for me. But it was pretty close to up to an hour in my Uber, and a very pricey Uber to get from LAX to Anaheim. But it worked out well. I actually, too, also upgraded. I didn't realize that Ubers, Lyfts, other ride shares are a bit off-site from the airport. So it said in the app, if you upgraded to a black car, that they would pick you up right at the curb instead of having to walk 15 minutes. So they got me on that one. I was like, oh, I'm in LA. I'll take a black car to Disneyland. That sounds fancy.
Yeah, they know how to get you, don't they?
They
Well,
really
good.
did, yeah.
But I think we've all said good things about the, Good Neighbor hotels and flying into LAX. I don't think any of us did, right?
Now we did John Wayne.
Yeah.
We flew home from LAX, but we flew out of John Wayne.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was also the crazy storm that was coming through.
Correct.
But anyway, so Molly, did you do the package with the tickets where it included, do they call it Lightning Lane out there now? Or
Yes. So I did 5-day park tickets, park hopper, and Lightning Lane multipass. I just was like, whatever. It's my first time here. Let's just buy the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
So I went for it all.
I think that's the best way to do it. I think we all did it that way. That's when you're going to California, that package that they have that where you get all of that included ahead of time. So nice. So nice. So.
And then it was all purchased and you didn't have to worry about each day trying to book it. Is it sold out? It was just ready to go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very convenient.
So you went to the park, you landed on Wednesday in LA, dropped your stuff off, and you went straight to the park?
I did, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
why waste any time?
Which park did you start with?
Started with Disneyland. Felt like that was a classic, needed to start there. So it was great. I mean, it's similar but different. You're walking down Main Street and it kind of is the same as Magic Kingdom, but it's also very different. And of course, I caught a look at the apartment above the firehouse with the light on, took a picture of that where Walt lived. That was great to see that. I always having heard about it. And Sleeping Beauty Castle at the end there. I mean, it's just very quaint and just charming. And that's how it was described to me. And I thought that was very, very accurate. And to kind of go in with that lens, thinking of it that way, since Magic Kingdom and Disney World is just this much grander scale. But it's just, yeah, it's all so close, so convenient, and just love that about it. Just my first steps there. It was great from the beginning.
Awesome. All right. So what was your first attraction that you, not the corn dog, but what was your first attraction that you discovered while you were visiting Disneyland?
The first thing I went on was Haunted Mansion. I wanted to see, I'd heard that it was the same, but the structure itself was different. So I wanted to check that out, and it did not disappoint. And I had Lightning Lane ready to go. I had not purchased a Magic Band at this point. I did that a little bit later. So walking up to where you tap in, there's a whole kind of a slot in the bottom of those. So I had to stick my phone in and use a barcode. That was a little bit different. But once I got used to that, I mean, just very quick, right in. And I love how the ride is different, how it's an elevator that brings you down in Disneyland. I thought that was neat. Although I was really feeling my age when I got out and we were walking to the ride vehicles. It was so dark. I couldn't see anything. I'm almost trying to feel for the people in front of me. I'm not with anyone, but I'm like, I'm on a trip. I can't see what's happening. I can't see in front of me. But it was great. The ride was great. There's a new bride that was just introduced in this. Hatbox Ghost is in a different location, which I personally think makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. So it was great. Loved it. Got off. That ride is awesome in both parks.
Okay, so was it the Jack Skellington Christmas version, or did they have to convert back?
They had already switched it back.
Okay.
I sadly did miss that. Yeah.
That's probably the best thing about them moving the date out later is you have the non-overlay to that.
Yeah, we fuss about that a lot. I personally like the Jack Skellington one. I know Jeff didn't. We still rode it like 4 or 5 times. I don't remember.
Right. It didn't stop me. I just would prefer to see the original.
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. Once. How did I only ride it once and you guys rode it 4 or 5 times?
Were you in line for those cookies across the street, maybe? I don't know. We rode it a bunch of times.
I didn't know.
You know what? You and Tim was gone a couple of times when we actually rode it.
It broke down on me a lot. It kept breaking down.
Yeah, well we know the problems.
I will say later on in the trip, my friend Kate, who came to visit and we ran the 10K together, we got stuck in the seance room for about 20 minutes.
Oh,
I think I could have repeated that verbatim by the end. And I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, it doesn't normally happen like this. It was their first time riding a Haunted Mansion. I'm like, I promise it's much better. But yeah, that was quite the experience to get stuck there. I thought we were going to get evacuated, but then we started moving.
Well, I mean, that long, you might have saw a real ghost. You never know. So, I mean, that's a good choice for your first one, though. So, good deal. So, you left from there, and how, since you had the Lightning Lane and stuff, where did you go next?
So then I waited for my friend to arrive. Kate was supposed to come in on Thursday, but earlier that week, I started talking about my plans for Wednesday. She got incredibly bad FOMO, switched her flight to Wednesday as well. And so she came in a couple hours after me.
Yeah. We know nothing about FOMO in this group.
No,
doing nothing.
No such things.
It doesn't exist. I was really proud of her. So I said I would just go on one ride. I wanted to experience all of it with her and wanted to see as somebody who hasn't seen any Disney attractions, hasn't been to any Disney park, kind of wanted to see it through her eyes. So
Yeah.
that'd be fun to do together.
What do you call it? Like the past tense of phone, or the future tense of phone? I don't know, one or the other. Where you are looking, you're listening to people talk about their trip to California, and you weren't there, and you wish you had been there. I mean, that
It's called
doesn't happen to
regret.
me.
Yeah, it's called
Regret, is
regrets.
that what it is?
Yeah, regrets, not
Regrets.
even a letter. Just one regret. Yeah.
Okay.
So Molly, what do you call it when you tell somebody
life
about a
choices.
trip a lot and say, hey, you should come, and they're like, no, I'm not going to come. And then while you're there, they have regret. What is that called?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm not like anybody on this screen would know anything about that, but all right.
No.
When your friend came, y'all went back, what did you guys get into? What kind of trouble did you get into when your friend came?
We went and bought magic bands. I mean, right away, we're dropping $50 on a little bracelet.
That's
I told her, I'm like, you need this. Trust me. You don't want to be pulling out your phone. We're just going to tap, tap, tap our way through the park. And she's like, okay, they're kind of pricey.
Phones die, magic bands don't die.
It's a souvenir, Kate. You're going to love it.
Good souvenir. Good souvenir.
But she was so happy. I was waiting for her, and she came skipping up through the gates. I've never seen someone so pleased to be there. And she was like, yes, I'm glad I moved my flight. Like, okay, great. We're going to do this. All right. We're having fun in Disneyland.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So did you park hop at all that day, or did you just stay in one park?
We mostly did Disneyland. We did park hop over to DCA at night. We had a couple of friends that we were meeting up with for dinner. So we did get a chance to go over there, and I had never been to DCA because that wasn't around when I went in 8th grade. So that I felt like, especially experiencing it at night, was so overwhelming. And it was the Lunar New Year celebration that was going on. So there's kind of that overlay. There's all these booths. We went to Cars Land, and there's the neon. And I mean, my head's on a swivel, her head's on a swivel. It's like, we need to come back here. We need to go meet people for dinner, but this is amazing. I don't even know what I should be looking at. There's so much to see. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Where'd you go for dinner?
We went to Carthay Circle Lounge.
Oh, we were just talking about that. You like it there.
That were fantastic cocktails. It was hard to pick because the menu is so extensive. I'm used to more of the Disney experience where it's like, here's 5 fruity cocktails. Which of these would you like? And it looked like they actually had more grown-up cocktails there, which I enjoyed.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very good food too.
Now, when we were all out there, the evening shows, World of Color was not happening. Was it going on for you?
Yes. So Thursday night, we booked tickets to the World of Color dessert party.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
So that was fantastic. I might add that it was very cold when we were there. I was looking at the forecast, and it said the lows at night were like 46 to 48. And coming from Rhode Island, where we had experienced a very cold winter with highs in the 15s, I mean, I'm thinking 48 is great. So I had a thin winter jacket. I was freezing every single night. It was so cold. It felt so much colder than 48. So we were very chilly at the dessert party. And it seemed like they had set up all the chairs and tables a while ago. So you sit down on a really cold chair and you're like, I'm so excited to be here, but I could use a blanket.
Yeah, we complain about the same thing. We're like, I don't know if Disneyland has some kind of agreement with the Weather Channel or something where they always underestimate it on purpose, because you have to go there and then you have to buy all kind of new stuff. But we said the same thing when we went there. It was like, it is cold here, especially for the start of the races. I was like, it's supposed to be California. This is crazy.
Yes, completely. Yes. California at the end of January, beginning of February is not what people are thinking of in their minds.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But temperature aside, World of Color was fantastic. I love the show. The show was phenomenal. Reminded me of the Bellagio in Las Vegas, but with, the water screens where they're putting up animated people on that. I mean, it was so great. The dessert party was fantastic. The plate of desserts was great. There were cheese and crackers. There were multiple drinks. We had a very attentive server who came back many times. It was fantastic.
Was there pog juice?
Highly recommend it.
Was there pog juice?
Yes, I did not ask for that. I was going for a bit more of adult beverage, but yeah, maybe they'd offer that.
I was just curious.
Do they have pog juice on the West Coast?
I don't know. I was wondering.
They do.
I'm sure they have. They have Pogs. They have Galaxy's Edge. They got to have it.
Made with real pugs.
Okay.
So the night came to an end. You had a blast. You're like, let's head on back. We're gonna get started. So the next day, it's time to pick up your race packet. How did that go? Because when we went, it was the first races back, so it was a little bit of confusion how they had us kind of lined up and things of that nature. Luckily, Jeff kind of secured a spot line and Jody as well, so it was kind of a lot of things going on. I'm sorry, what you say, Jody?
I didn't secure a spot in line. That was all Jeff. I showed up last.
Oh yeah, you. In fact, you're right. We were actually in the park eating beignets when Jeff got a spot in line. Okay, I was giving you credit for something you purely didn't earn.
I know. I'm like, I don't give you credit for
doing that while we were riding rides in the park and doing stuff. You actually secured a spot for us. Thank you for that. So, how was it when you went to pick up your race packet, Molly?
So we were with people who had been there for the Halloween races, and they were saying it was better organized than that. But they also kind of knew where to go. I think without their help, we would have been lost trying to walk through the Disneyland Hotel. It didn't feel it was very well marked. There were some signs up for the expo, but it seemed like they were pointing in opposite directions. And the cast members themselves didn't really seem to have a lot of information. So thankfully, we were there for merch. We got boarding groups 1 and 2. We were ready to go. And these people knew the door we needed to line up at. So we kind of started forming the line before the line. And you see the other people milling about with you. And you're kind of giving them eyes of like, we're all in the same place. All right, yeah, let's just stand here together and see what happens.
Yeah, in it for the merch. Okay. I may know somebody who likes merch. I don't know. I may. But so, yeah, good deal. So you're able to get your packet. How long were you in the expo?
We were there for a couple of hours for sure. So you start in one area to get the merch. Unlike Disney World, where you move to different buildings, here you're just moving to different floors within the convention facilities. So then we went upstairs to get bibs. That was very well organized. Went back downstairs to get the shirts. It was definitely a much smaller scale than what I was used to of other Run Disney expos. So didn't spend as much time as I thought we were going to. It seemed like there were less photo props too. That's usually a bigger part of the expo out in Disney World, or there's characters to get photos with and so forth. So could kind of save some time there not doing that, but walked through the vendors, you get some little freebies and people trying to sell you various items. It was great. It was a good experience. We got everything we came for.
Here's the important question. You were at Marathon Weekend and then you went to Disneyland. So did you get a special bracelet when you got your bib?
I did, but I had to know to ask for it because the person who was working did not give it to me.
Oh, wow.
So yes, thankfully I then opened up my phone and showed that I was eligible for Coast to Coast. And then he's, oh, I'm so sorry, and pulls out a bracelet from underneath. So if I didn't know, I probably would have left and nobody would have given it to me.
Thanks.
We experienced the same thing. We got ours, but I think we were coming out of Muppets and kind of told somebody, and they're like, wait, I'm supposed to get a special bracelet? And I was like, yes. And they had to go back and get it. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of like I said, the race is just coming back there. They're probably getting their feet wet. It's good to hear that it's better than it was for the Halloween races. So hopefully every race weekend they're getting better and better. And finally there'll be, a well-oiled machine, because it is 2 different Run Disneys, which is crazy, right? There's the West Coast side and the East Coast. I'm just happy they don't have beef. But so yeah, so who knows? Because we know how West Coast, East Coast goes. Right. So you got your stuff, and then you went back into the park, I'm assuming.
We did, yes. I'm having to check my notes because we did so much. We went back to Disneyland. There were a few other rides that we hadn't done, Pirates being one of them. I had heard that Pirates was so much better in Disneyland. Oh my gosh, it is so much better in Disneyland.
Okay, so Molly, here's the question. When you were there, was the restaurant open in Pirates?
Yes, the restaurant was open. There were people who were eating as we floated past.
Yeah. See, I'm not bitter, but I'm bitter.
So, hey, Molly, let me ask this question. So, you probably know that I'm a Disney. Obviously, I'm a Disney expert. I'm on a Disney podcast, so that makes me an expert. And I know the difference between Pirates in California versus Pirates in Florida. But there might be some of our listeners who don't. So, could you tell us a little bit about why Disneyland Pirates is better?
Yes, well, it's a much longer ride, which I was not prepared for. I knew that I know a lot of people love the hill in the Florida Pirates, that there's a little bit extended version of that. You get that a couple of times out in California. But there's a much more elaborate lead up to the first room that you get into where the pirate ship is battling with those people in the village. And a lot of dead pirates. You're just going by a lot of pirate bones at the beginning, which is great. It's building and building, and you're like, what am I getting into? This is, I mean, dead men tell no tales. Okay, I've gotten this 10 times already. I'm ready to go. And at the very end, as you're about to go in, one of the dead pirates, one of the illusions, becomes a real pirate whose face comes back together. My friend missed it. She was looking the wrong way. And I'm like, oh, Kate, that was amazing. What? I'm like, oh my God, you missed it, but I'm so ready to go. Let's go, pirates.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I do think Haunted Mansion and Pirates and some other things are better there, right? To me, and I want to hear all about your other experiences, but definitely those two are a lot better to me. Right. So good deal. Okay. So got out of Pirates. Did you get a Monte Cristo by any chance?
So this is very sad. So I had a reservation on Sunday after the half for one at Blue Bayou. Yes. I couldn't find anyone else to go with me. I was like, no, I'm going to go by myself. I'm a big girl. I will have been there for days. And this is a little bit of jumping ahead. I encountered an injury that made me run the half marathon a lot longer than I thought. And I sadly had to cancel that reservation. So I did not. So that is on my list for whenever I get back to Disneyland. That Monte Cristo is on my list.
Guess what, Molly? You have a bunch of people on this call who also didn't get the Monte Cristo because the bio was closed when we were there. So you may have some other guests who want to join you.
Yes.
Perfect. Group
Next time you go back, let us know because we're bitter about a couple of things, but we'll get over it.
Will we, Lonnie? It's been a year and a month, and we're still talking about it.
Lonnie's bitter about
it. You can't rush people's feelings. You know what? You can't do that.
I'm not trying to rush you. You feel all the feels you want. All the feels.
Thank you.
All right. So Thursday, big day. Expo Packet Day, hitting the parks. Any highlights? We already talked a little bit about World of Color dessert party, which was Thursday night. Any other big highlights you want to talk about from Thursday?
We went on the Matterhorn, which was my first time doing that.
Oh. Did your back survive?
No. I was not. But also, I was really terrified by the Yeti. Nobody told me there was a Yeti in that ride.
Multiple Yetis. Yetis all over the place.
Yes. Multiple Yetis. I actually screamed out loud like a child both times I encountered them. I'm sure the people in our vehicle were like, what is happening with this woman? Yes. I mean, I was shrieking throughout that ride. That would be scary if you were a kid.
Yeah. I mean, and look, my back is still scared because, that thing will get you.
That took me months to recover. Yeah. It took me months to recover from that one, really. Like my back was sore for days.
Lonnie, did you?
I went before. I went previously on I didn't go this time because my back was still hurting. Like when I walked past it, my back was like, don't even think about it. You remember what happened last time you rode this thing? Wow. I mean, it's you talk about dinosaur. Dinosaur has nothing on Matterhorn. It's just
so you admit that dinosaur is a rough ride. That's what it sounds like to me.
No, because after Matterhorn, dinosaur is like easy. I'm just saying. So all right then.
What I do like about the Matterhorn ride vehicles being a taller person, I'm 5'10", you can like really get your legs into that vehicle. I mean, you can kind of decide like, do I want legs all the way out? Do I want to pull them towards my body? But I actually fit, which was great. A lot of them are like, my legs are up by my chin as I'm trying to sit. So I appreciate that about the Matterhorn. That was nice. And then the two sides are different, which someone told me. So then Kate and I stupidly the next day went back and rode the other side. I don't know.
Your back was like, did you not feel what happened yesterday? Okay, well.
And I screamed again at the Yetis.
Yeah.
They were coming. They still got me. I love
it.
Oh well. That was great. Great ride.
It was a good ride. It was a good ride. So the next day, 5K day. All right. So did the 5K start in the park?
I was texting Molly like, it's 5K day. And she sent me a little clip of a video because I'm like, well, I can text her because she's up because the race starts at 5. And, because sometimes I'm like, should I? Like, oh, yeah, She's up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was definitely up. So the Run Disney gods graced me with Corral A for the 5K. I have no idea how. When
You're
I
an
picked
elite
up my
athlete?
bib the day before,
It happens. It happens sometimes.
I was with Kate, who this was her first Run Disney race. She had no idea. I like held it in the air and I was like, I got A. And she's like, what does A mean? Like,
What did she get?
oh, she was doing the 10K.
She was
So
doing
she didn't
the
get that. Yeah.
So I was doing the 5K by myself.
Jeff
Look at
has
that.
an A, but we know Jeff is an elite athlete, so he
Yes.
always gets A for the
Right.
5K. Mhm.
Mhm.
So
I
you're
have-
starting, you're in the park, which is pretty cool. You're starting on Main Street, right? You're in A, so you're in the beginning. What did you think about the start as compared to the 5K at Disney World?
I was standing in front of the castle.
Nice.
Hello.
Exactly.
It's amazing. I mean, that just Corral A gets to do it, so I was a little bit spoiled, but I'm following the crowd
Wow.
and we walk past all of them and then we start to go around the hub and I'm like, stop it. We
Yeah.
are right up by the castle. It was amazing.
The
And
best
right by
part
the
is
stage,
5K
I could actually see Carissa putting on the show instead of watching her on a TV from yards away.
That's cool.
It was fantastic. And they did some fireworks, which I did not think were going to happen. I got video of those going out right off the castle. And the start line was right there.
Yeah.
We were the first wave to go. So the race started and I was running. I didn't have to wait 20 minutes to run. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's very magical for you. I mean, you're starting right in front of the castle, you're in A, and then the fireworks right there. I think that's probably the best starting line, or best 5K starting line, hands down. Right.
Yes.
So it is
100%. That has nothing on the Epcot parking lot. As much as I love Florida Run Disney events, I mean, that right there was like, I should just quit. Like, I don't need to do the other two races. This is fantastic. We can't top this.
nice. Okay, good deal. So a lot of characters for the 5K?
There were a decent amount. I felt like I had been prepped that there are a little bit less in Disneyland than there are in Disney World, but a good amount of characters. The course goes all through Disneyland and DCA. It also ends in the park in addition to starting in the park. So that's really cool, ending in the Pixar Pier area over in DCA. The whole thing was fantastic. You're kind of just pinching yourself. Like, am I here? Am I doing this? Is this really as magical as I think it is? It was great. 10 out of 10 race. Fantastic course.
Love it. So what did you do afterwards to celebrate?
What did we do afterwards? Oh, my poor friend. So I had woken up early and tried so hard to keep the lights off in the room since she wasn't running. She woke up right as I was leaving and then had told me that she never fell back asleep.
Oh,
So she had me on Find My Friends and she was tracking me. She was like, yeah, you really were standing right in front of the castle, weren't you? She's like, I took a screenshot for you. So she followed me the whole time. So she was wide awake by the time I got back. We were ready to go. We went into DCA this morning and we did all of the rides in Cars Land. Since we were showing up a little after rope drop, we bit the bullet and we bought the single pass for Radiator Springs Racers, but that was phenomenal. Being a test track fan, but that elevates it to a completely different level. And I'm trying not to do the comparing thing for my friend of like, oh, well, at Epcot, it's like this and here and I'm like, no, she just needs to experience this standalone. So cool. The first half of the ride when you're going through just your vehicle and then you race another car. Like, what is that? That's great. Whoever came up with that.
Did you guys win, by the way?
No, we lost. But in my heart, I felt like we won. It was a great race.
It
was
is.
so good. And our faces, like, we're
fantastic.
screaming. My hair is all blown out behind me in the photo. It was amazing.
As it should be.
As it should be. Okay.
Any other fun things on Friday?
The other two rides there were so cute. Luigi's with the dancing cars. That was adorable. I hadn't read much about that ride prior to going on it, and you get to watch it a couple times where you're waiting in line. That was so cute. Loved that. And then Mater's, which is like alien swirling saucers in Hollywood Studios. That's great. I have a video of us from that. We didn't hold on, so we're slamming into each other and we're just cackling. And you can see other people looking at us, enjoying the ride because we're enjoying the ride. It was great.
Not the fun.
It was really fun. It's like, as a couple of adults, friends, just having fun together, because it feels like sometimes there's so few things in life where you get to experience that just pure joy with a friend. it was fantastic to be able to do that with her, for us to both be experiencing these for the first time together. It was really nice.
I love that.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. So the next day you both were running. So did you
We were.
behave and go to bed early that night?
Yes. Yes, we did. I know she was thinking, like, do we need to stay up and do some things? Like, you know, if you want to, you do you, runs Disney races before, I got to get some sleep. It's time. That alarm is going to go off very early in the morning. So
Yeah.
we both got up on time, left the room, and this was where the start line changed. So as I mentioned before, it's now even closer to where our hotel was. You walk down some alley that you hadn't recognized before, and you see all the lights and you hear the music. And I think this is where, you know, she's having her first Run Disney experience. You turn the corner and she's like, what is that? I'm like, welcome to a parking lot at 4 a.m. Isn't this cool?
Meet up in this parking lot by 4 a.m, cut down this alley. None's crazy going on here.
Right.
So what corral did you have for the 10K?
So I was in D for the 10K.
Okay.
So I was in the middle and went up through F. I thought that was a fine placement. My friend was in F. We did run separately. So I was stopping for more of the characters, for more of the backgrounds. And then I was in front of the castle and I hear this Molly, and I see Kate just go tearing past me, just this streak of pink. And I was like, oh, hi. She finished so far before I did. She was waiting for me at the finish line. I was like, all right, your first 10K, you crushed it. She did an amazing job. She had a fantastic experience. We both did.
But she didn't get her money's worth. She didn't get her money's worth.
Yes, because you have to take a long time.
You got to take a long time.
You have to take a lot of pictures. Did she have any character pictures?
She did not. What I feel like that's the thing, though. Your first one you do, you're kind of nervous. You hear about the balloon ladies. She was in the last corral. She was worried about that. So she's like, I just got to run. I don't want to be feeling like I'm chased the whole time, like I'm nervous. So she just ran, but she said she loved it. She's like, getting to run through the parks was so cool. I got all these nice photos from on the course. She's like, I look like this tough runner who's running through. But that 10K course, I talk about the 5K course being amazing. The 10K, I think, was even better. You just keep weaving back and forth through the parks. You're out backstage and then you're back in another way, and you're in Galaxy's Edge and then you're out backstage and then you're in Toontown, and it just kept going. It was great. It was really great. That might have been the best course of the weekend.
Oh, nice. Okay. Glad you enjoyed it. So, and the medal was pretty good.
Yes. Yep. So Ahsoka was the theme for the 10K. So that was awesome. I dressed up as an Ewok. Kate had a Princess Leia thing going on, so we dressed to the theme that day. So we both got great photos. It was awesome. It was really
okay, so there's this guy on his podcast. His name is Kevin. You don't see him too often, but when he does pop up, he's a big Star Wars fan. If he saw that, now I'm glad he's not here tonight, because if he heard that, he would have had serious FOMO. He probably would have been like, I can't believe I missed that. I'm like,
so Molly, was probably good that you had the layers dressed as an Ewok and stuff, because it was cold. Unlike, you and I both did Wine and Dine race weekend where it was 9,872 degrees. This, you actually wanted the layers. So that worked out in your favor.
Yes, it did. For the 5K, I was dressed as a Mouseketeer and I did have on short sleeves. I was very cold that morning. I ended up bringing gloves with me. I needed them. I could have used more layers. And so the Ewok costume, I had long sleeves, I had long pants. I also had a bunch of fur that I was wearing, which I was highly regretting as I was trying on the different versions of my costume. But that morning, and I had multiple people say to me, like, you were smart to wear the fur. Like I had planned it. And I was just like, I know. Thank you. Yes.
So fur is okay when it's cold. Feathers, I'm still just trauma from the feathers. Yeah.
It was also my first time carrying a prop. I made an Ewok spear, and I was thinking, this is either going to be amazing or absolutely terrible. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. It, lends itself to some fun pictures, and like people call out like, oh, it's an Ewok. And I like pointed him with the spear, and it was great. I didn't mind it. I don't think I'd want to carry a prop for the half, but for 6 miles, it was just fine. And then I threw it in the trash as soon as I got back to the hotel.
As an aside, did you see the guy the waiter running with the plate, the platter during the marathon? I saw him at like mile 20, 5.5, and the guy, I just couldn't get over that. That wouldn't work
He
for
probably
me.
has carpal tunnel now.
Oh, for
Gene
sure.
and I, we have made a decision to never wear costumes. So you'll never see us in a costume. Jody is our, and Jeff both have
No
actually
props.
they're resident costume people. But
After
Gene
wine and dine, though, my costumes might be on their way out.
yeah, well, I mean, but just so you know, you probably will never see me and Gene in a costume, but I have great respect for everyone who battles in a
For
costume.
sure. I
And,
love the costumes. I
I
love
do
it.
as well. I just don't think I have the mental fortitude to run in a costume.
No.
I'm a slacker. I don't. So by trade, I'm just mad I'm there. So I'm glad that you were able to,
I didn't think it was anything I'd get into. I'm not a huge Halloween fan. I don't dress up for Halloween. I'm not a costume person normally, but someone had told me that people wear costumes for these races. I feel like the first few that I went to, you start to see it and you see the varying levels. Some people are doing more of a bounding type costume.
Yes.
Some people are going all out. Someone's carrying a tray for 26 miles, but it's fun. And then to pick out these more these characters that people might just you see a glimpse of during a ride, and it's really exactly. It's fun. It's fun to play around with, and I wouldn't think I would normally do it, but now I'm kind of trying to amp up the costumes for each race going forward.
That's
so
good.
I don't know, Lonnie. Maybe there's a costume in your future. Maybe just a headpiece or something. You never know.
Yeah.
Lonnie's like, I don't know.
I'll bring one for you next time I see you.
Okay, that'll work. So finish the race. Did you have breakfast somewhere? What did you guys do? Went back, changed. I'm sure you went back. What park did you go into? What did you guys do?
We did. We went to Disneyland that day. Started with some Mickey pretzels. We felt like that was a good snack after race. Some carbs, some salt, some electrolytes. At least that's what we told ourselves. That seemed like a good thing to do, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's in the food pyramid somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And then for that, we did some of the Fantasyland attractions that day. Some of the ones that weren't Lightning Lane multipass. Got to ride in one of the cages for the Casey Jr. Circus train. And that was a very long wait for that. I know Kate was kind of like, what are we doing? I'm like, no, trust me. Somebody said this is really cool. We have to sit in a cage.
We may or may not have been in a cage.
Squished like little tiny bugs.
It's all of us just like, would you like in the next cage? Like, no, we all want to get on this cage. And the guy's like, all right.
Exactly.
You're the one in there, all of y'all. Okay, well, yeah. So look, we join your excitement. That is a great ride. It's cute.
I love it.
Awesome.
It was really cute. Really cute.
Now, your friend you said was participating in the 10K. You have the half marathon the next day. So you should, in theory, be saving your legs a little bit. Were you doing that?
So that's an interesting question. So the part of all of these stories that I have not shared is that starting Thursday at the expo is when I started having leg pain that I've never experienced before. It just started in my right leg. I didn't know if I had pulled something, if it was a shin splint, what it was. I felt it during the 5K, wasn't that bad. Didn't feel great in the parks, felt it more during the 10K, but this afternoon walking around, I was really starting to hurt. So we were taking more breaks. I was messaging with my running coach. We were trying to figure out what the problem could possibly be. And I had actually the day before on Friday gone back to the expo to get taped up by someone there, buy some products, buy some compression socks, like throw anything at this problem to try to make it better. Because I wanted to get through all 3 of these races and tour around the parks. So there's definitely, I feel like a lot that we might have left on the table because I wasn't feeling great, because of the races and wanting to save ourselves a little bit. So yeah, I was trying to save my legs as much as I could. I did end up going back by myself a little bit earlier on Saturday to get ready for the next morning, doing whatever I could, do some extra icing, some extra elevating, get ready for that half marathon.
That was smart. Try to get in front of that.
Definitely. But we did on Saturday finally get to ride Indiana Jones.
Did you
now,
leave?
what did your back think about that one?
That one was not bad. Just like Dinosaur. Herky jerky, but not herky jerky in a right in the Matterhorn Space Mountain kind of way. I don't know, a gentler herky jerky, if that's possible.
Herky jerky.
I lost the camera on that ride, so I don't know. It's they say put it in a little bin. I kept it in my pocket. I'm like, it'll be fine. I got off and I was like, hey, Where's my camera?
Oh,
Yeah.
We're pretty sure we know who found the camera, though. It was the other people right behind you, wasn't it?
Probably so. Who knows? I mean,
But you got
the
your hat
funny thing
back.
about it is I went fill out a lost and found, and 2 weeks later I got a call from Disney, and they're like, "Hey, we found your camera," and they shipped it to me. So the
Oh,
lost and
wow.
found does work. I still, I lost a hat too, a Ducks hat. It was limited edition, first
First
edition
gen.
actually.
first edition, yeah. Signed.
They found the camera, but they didn't find that duck hat. And I told them exactly where the duck hat was. I said, it is in Space Mountain. I said, and we wrote it like 20 minutes ago. Now, I think pretty sure a cast member has that hat right now. Probably. It's probably selling on eBay.
Definitely.
On eBay.
It's on someone's shelf. It's a trophy.
Oh,
First edition.
I can see return a camera. People aren't going to return a Ducks hat. You know what I'm saying?
No, not
Nobody's
Ducks
turning that in. No.
I don't blame them. I'll return it.
But I have to say, Indiana Jones, someone told me it's the exact same track as Dinosaur. The exact same track. How is that possible? That is a completely different route. I mean, when you get in the main part of it and there's the like skull or head or wherever that is, and you're seeing other cars. I
think they just overlay those tracks some kind of way where you can see, because in Dinosaur, you're only seeing the one car. But they overlap them to your point where you actually have one coming the other way. And so, yeah, it is pretty cool. I'm interested to see how they're going to do that when they redo Dinosaur.
No, mommy, it's okay.
I feel the exact same way. I love that ride.
It's okay.
It's going to be really sad when the Dino Institute leaves us forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no sympathy for you.
Gene does not feel the same about Dinosaur. If you haven't,
I just think about how many necks and backs have been hurt on that ride.
I don't know why Gene is the way he is. I just don't know.
Okay, all right. So, what does John always say? Let's get this train back on the track, or I don't know what he ever says. But
he says, "Oh boy," and
oh boy.
Say "oh boy" first.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay, so Saturday you went to bed a little earlier, and then Sunday. So how did the leg feel when you woke up on Sunday?
I felt okay in the hotel room. I was thinking maybe I've iced it enough. Maybe the KT tape is working its magic. I didn't feel like I needed to limp to the parking lot as much on Sunday as I did on Saturday. And then as soon as I started running, I knew I was in trouble. It hurt out of the gate. And I'm thinking, I have 13 miles to go. What in the world am I going to do? This is bad. And I'm trying to get my coast to coast. So I am committed at this point. I'm like, literally, what can I do to finish this race?
And Molly, were you running with, like, often all of us run together. Were you running by yourself or with other teammates, or what was your scenario?
I was running by myself. I was by myself in the corrals. I was by myself during the race. I knew that there were other people around. They were ahead of me. And on some level, I didn't want to burden them with that. Because I knew when I got to the point where I could not run anymore and had to walk, I really didn't want those people to have to walk with me on the off chance that I wasn't going to make it. I didn't want to also jeopardize their chances of finishing the race. So it's like, I'm just going to do this on my own. This is going to be my personal journey today that we go on at the streets of Anaheim.
Okay, so how did it go?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of know, but for our listeners.
It was okay through the parks. I feel like that kind of buoyed me a little bit. You get to see some characters. You stop for characters. You might stop for a photo with the castle. I was kind of taking it easy, doing some extra walk breaks. I usually run a 90-30 interval. So some of those, as I was extending, I was walking through my 90 seconds of running, doing what I could. And I got past mile 6 and I stepped down on my right foot and just had searing pain go through my leg. At that point, I knew, like, I need to stop running. There's something wrong here. Maybe this is actually a stress fracture, which is what I had been thinking of this whole time and just putting off in my mind. No, it's just muscular. So I started walking and I called a friend. I talked to her for a little bit. She was kind of telling me, this is where the balloon ladies are. You're still a ways ahead of them. You got enough buffer. And that's when she tells me, like, so based on your pace, you're going to finish at this time. was like, so I'm going to have to walk for 2 hours. I have 2 hours of walking ahead of me. She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, all right.
So how bad did it hurt to walk?
I would put it at a 7.5 on a 1 to 10 scale. It was bad. It was bad. I was definitely limping. I had a few people ask me along the way if I was okay. And I was like, yep, fine. Just hurts a little bit. I talked to my husband for a little bit. At that point, like mile 8 or 9, I was like, I think this is bad. I think I probably need to stop. My rational brain was telling me, you're really injured. Occasionally I was getting shoots of pain up my leg that were kind of making me feel ill. I'm like, this really isn't good. What am I doing this for? It's metal. I can earn it another way. It's not a big deal. This isn't worth my health. And I walk past a medical tent at mile 9, and all of a sudden this worker appears next to me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he saw me limping. He's going to pull me off the course. Do they do this? Do they identify people who need help? He asked me my name. I say it's Molly. He's like, oh, hi, Molly. Well, I have Kathy here. She just took a little spill. She's pretty upset, but do you want to be her buddy? Do you think you guys could walk together to the finish line? I was like, sure. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. I was talking to my husband. I was like, I've got a buddy now. I'm going to have to hang up on you. So then I start talking to Kathy. She is 64. She lives locally. She's a Disneyland half legacy. She doesn't think she's going to finish. She is really upset. She's crying. So I'm trying to distract her. I'm like, do you have any pets? She starts telling me about her dogs and all the dogs that she has and where she's rescued them from. We talk about races, anything I can do to try to get her mind off of it. But in a way, it's also getting my mind off of the pain and it's propelling me forward. We took a selfie together at mile 10. I was doing the selfie pictures. I'm like, Kathy, you want to hop in my picture? Oh, no. I'm like, no, come on. We're doing this together. We're taking this picture. And we got to a point between mile 10 and 11 where she knew she was walking faster than I was. I knew she was walking faster than I was. She kept turning around and looking, and she was looking for the balloon ladies. And she's like, so would you mind if I'm like, Kathy, go on ahead. It's totally fine. I'll be okay. She's like, you sure? You sure? I'm just really nervous. I'm like, you go. I'll be fine. I'm going to run my race. You're going to run yours. Just go. So from that point on, it was truly just me all by myself. I did not put my AirPods back in. I just was putting one foot in front of the other. I'm like, this hurts so badly, but I've gotten this far. I am not giving up at this point.
What mile were you at when she left you?
Between 11 and 12.
You said, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm getting close to the end.
Yeah.
But everyone around me looks like I do. Like we are all beat up. We are all just trying to finish this thing. And then I noticed there's all these bikers that start appearing around us, people on bicycles. And that's when they start saying, you're 90 seconds off pace. The balloon ladies are 90 seconds behind you. And that's when I finally turn around and I see them. I'm like, oh my God, I have goosebumps right now as I'm telling this. I have never seen them. I have never been that close to them before. I understand when people say how it strikes fear in them. I know their job is to be supportive. I know they are there to get everybody across the finish line. But when you have been trying so hard for something and you see that end coming at you, it is absolutely demoralizing in the moment. So I just start walking. I look at the person next to me and I'm like, we really got to go, huh? And we're all just walking and walking. And you keep turning corners and you're like, why am I not there yet? I feel like I've been walking for 10 years. Where is this finish line? I finally turned onto a street that was pretty close to the finish. And I see my friend Kate. I see a couple of other people and they are cheering for me and they've got their phones up, taking video. And I yell to them, I think I'm going to die. And they're like, you're not. Keep going. You're almost there. And I'm like, people keep saying that to me. I'm not almost there. And then all of a sudden, there's the finish line. I see it. And the balloon ladies are far enough behind me that I know I've got this. I'm crying behind my glasses. I'm like, how did I do this? I was one of those people who thought people who walk a race are not actually racing. And I have a completely different mindset and respect for all of those athletes now, because that's been me. I was one of them just on Sunday and didn't think that was going to be me. So I did it. I finished. I danced across the finish line, which was kind of more like a limp dance, but I had my hands up and I was moving to the music and I got those medals, and then I walked straight to medical and collapsed on a bench.
Mm.
Look, congratulations to you for actually, and I mean that, for this battling through. That is hard, right? And I'm gonna tell you, and we talked about it on the podcast. Those Anaheim streets are not easy, especially. I mean, they're bumpy. They're kind of like on an angle, and and so that is just the fact that you're able to endure those streets, and then to make it. That's a testament to just really persevering. So congratulations to you for that. And that's an
Thank you.
awesome coast to coast medal, by the way, too.
It really is. And I
Mhm.
desperately wanted it. Again, you're having that mental battle with yourself of like, what is worth it? At what point do I need to throw it in? And I, just decided that I don't think this is bad enough. I hope this isn't bad enough. We're going to do it. Let's do it.
And look, one day you might not be able to do it, but that day was not that day. So you did it.
Sunday was not that day.
And I said to her, I'm like, you will forever be a part of Kathy's story. Like you and Kathy, I think that medic person out of all the people walking by pulled you. And now you and Kathy are forever, part of each other's story. And she needed you and you needed her. And look, I mean, that happened. So that I know how much pain you were in. And I don't know. I wasn't, but I know it was hard for you. And you kept at it. And you have so much to be proud of. You really do.
Thank you. It was a heck of a battle, one I hope that I never have to endure again. But for the people who go through it, oof, hopefully I'm knocking on all the wood right now in my office. Hopefully not.
How's your leg feeling now?
My leg is okay. It's getting better day by day. We'll see. I am signed up for all 3 of the princess races.
So did you actually did you find out what it was? Did you go to?
I have not seen a medical professional,
Okay.
which a lot of people have suggested I do that. I have talked to my running coach. She's consulted with the PT who heads up the program, and they do think it was just extreme overuse.
Yeah, I'm sure it
from
was.
the 3 races, from all of the walking in the parks. So I hope that's the case. And I have not felt that sharp pain since the race on Sunday.
Good.
So I'm just
for the record, you can turn Gene in because that's a HIPAA violation, him asking that, by the way.
I will report you later. It's okay.
Okay.
We have
Just don't tell me. We do have attorneys on retainer. So whenever you're talking about that, Molly, I love this story. One of the reasons I think we've all talked about this, the things that have helped some of us get through races or other people that, even if you're doing good and you feel great, there's, you're like this throughout a race and there's people you help along and it just are people that help you along. It's so great. I love that. I just, that lady, I forget what you said her name is. When you said that, I thought, man, what a gift you were to her and what a gift she was to you. Like that medical person just gave you a gift. And even though it wasn't through the finish line, like you gave that lady that with legacy, you gave her, she might not have made it if it wasn't for you, and you might not have made it without her. I love that story. That's really good.
Yeah. So I today actually posted that photo on the Disneyland Half Marathon Facebook page, the group there. And I was like, can the internet help me find Kathy? I was partnered up with this woman. Here's a photo of her. She lives in California. She has dogs. She's a legacy runner. And within 10 minutes, I had somebody comment on it. Oh, that's Kathy so-and-so. So I have sent her a Facebook message. I'm waiting for her to respond. I sent the photo of the 2 of us together. And then I also told her that I finished. And I sent her my picture with the bag of ice on my leg and my 3 medals and said exactly that of, you came to me at a point in the race where I was ready to give up, and you inspired me even through just the mile and a half we spent walking together. I think you're part of the reason that I got to the finish line. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I want to know if you finished. I hope she did.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's
nothing like a Run Disney event. I tell you, that's why that's why Jody makes us do them, because Gene and I have been talking to backing out for a long time.
Well, that was an incredibly powerful story for certain. I think we've all had races like that where people have been by our side and helped us through things. I absolutely thrilled that she did finish. And now she's back. There you go, Molly. We're just giving you accolades, like saying how happy we were for you that you finished.
Yep.
So,
Thanks
Sure.
so much. Just technical difficulties.
well, you know,
You
it's
didn't want me to hear
happens.
that.
the computer was just like, oh my gosh, what a story. And it was melting down listening to your
Mhm.
story. So,
100%. Yeah.
so I hope you took the rest of the day and took it. Oh no, I know how you spent your Sunday. Why don't you tell everyone what you had to do then on Sunday?
Well, on Sunday, I went back to the hotel for a little bit. I mean, I took the world's longest walk to get back there. I don't think I've ever walked slower in my life. But after resting for a couple of hours, I was like, you know what? My leg feels great. I'm going to go back to Disneyland. And I met up with a bunch of people and walked around the park for a few hours because why not? Why don't we just throw everything we can at that leg?
Yeah, might as well.
How was it feeling at this point? Was it really feeling better?
It was feeling better. Oddly enough, I could keep up with the people I was walking with.
Good.
Yeah, it was kind of like, am I gaslighting myself? Did I not have an injury? I'm so confused with what's happening.
Well, and then you went where that night?
And then I had to go to the airport because I flew out on a red eye at 9:25 p.m.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
All right then.
That
Yeah, that was very, very eventful. Pretty good.
It was an eventful day. And let me say, while my leg was feeling okay in Disneyland, it did not feel okay walking through LAX and then sitting in place for 6 hours on a plane and then walking all the way through Boston Logan to baggage claim and then to my car. Mhm.
It was Disney magic.
It,
Made it feel
It
better.
really
It was like,
was.
yeah.
it wanted me to get those metal pictures in front of the castle. Thank you so much, Disney Magic.
You earned those pictures and those medals for
Mhm.
certain. For certain. Well, that was an awesome race recap. It sounds like you know, it had a lot. It had highs, lows, and everything in between. I think those of us who have run the Disneyland races, it also sounds like it was a little. They're making improvements every time, so that's always a good thing to hear. So, anybody have any questions for Molly that we didn't talk about? Anything you want to ask her?
Now, Molly, I think that you did a fantastic job just recapping.
For sure.
It makes me excited. I think I told Jody I messed around and may have, as much as I hate running, signed up for the Halloween races. So yeah, I guess I'll, go there and just complain the whole time that I hate running. So there you go. I'm a glutton for punishment, but I wanted that coast to coast. So I am envious of you for that coast to coast medal. So I got to go get one.
When
I
is
will
that
say
one?
it was nice to have it right away. The first time you could earn it was walking around Disneyland like, yeah, everybody look at my medal as I limped through the park.
And it is a nice coast to coast medal. They did you a solid because I have to say our coast to coast medal was not nearly as nice as yours.
No.
Can I say that something that drove me to finish that race was the fact that at marathon weekend, I had purchased the pins that said coast to coast, I did it. And I knew those were at my house. And I was like, I am not selling these on eBay. I am finishing this race so I can use those pins.
I mean, you bought them. I mean, look, anything to motivate you, you take it. Right?
Ah, shoot.
There
I
you
love
go.
it. I love it.
Mhm. So
All right, gents, is it time to make get a little silly here?
Time to make
well,
the
I
magic.
mean, it has been. We did we did a survey, and everyone said this was the best part of the show. They said guest, and then quacking it with the ducks. So let's quack up. So Molly,
We got to give
you
We got
are
to give
our
people what
guest.
they want.
Got to give the people what they want. I mean, we only got 4 listeners. If we don't give the 4 what they want, we go down to 3, go down to 2, then we just talking to ourselves. So Molly, can you quack us up tonight?
Well, I was hoping to, but you guys saw my computer just shut down. So I lost my joke. Can you help jog my memory? You're
That
welcome.
was good, Molly.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Nice setup and everything. That was perfect.
You came in strong. The fact that you jumped off the computer just to set up that joke, that says a lot. It's dedication right now, right? It's
That's totally
dedication.
what it was.
That's right.
Jody, I don't envy you because you have to follow that.
I know I don't really want to, and my jokes are never good. So, so sticking with the race, did you hear what happened at the race between the lettuce and the tomato?
No.
Mm-mm.
The lettuce was always ahead, and the tomato was playing catch up. It's the best I could come up with. Sorry, not nearly as good as Molly's.
Yeah, but it's better than what you usually come up with. So we give you that.
Yeah, I know. Better Google search today.
Jeff, come in strong, man. What you got for us?
It's like Valentine's season right now, with the holiday coming up and everything. And I've been really struggling to figure out what to get my Valentine for the day coming up. I decided on an abacus. It's the little thing that counts.
She's so
I like
lucky.
that.
Good one. Gene, what do you have, sir?
I don't have a joke for you. I just, I hate to give y'all too much information, TMI, as the kids say these days. But man, I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore. My wife is always on my back. She gives me such a hard time. She says I have no sense of direction. So I packed up my stuff and I write.
I mean, I hate to do one because all those were good, but I'm going to try my best. Why are electricians always politically correct? Because they know how to conduct themselves.
Ah, nice. Nice.
So, you know what? We've said some things, including Gene's HIPAA violation. So I'm sure our lawyers have something to say to us. So,
I do.
Gene, what did the lawyers say tonight?
Thank you for listening to another Quacktastic episode of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, your favorite flock, Lonnie, Jody, Jeff, and Gene. We're joined by the marvelous Molly, who recently conquered the Disney World trifecta, the 5K, 10K, and half marathon, despite nursing an injury during the half. She heroically waddled to the finish line. Talk about duck determination. Before we dive into the magic, a few disclaimers. Medical marvels. Molly's tale of triumph is truly inspiring. However, unless you're a duck with superhuman resilience, please consult with a healthcare professional before attempting any race, especially with an injury. Remember, even Donald takes a break now and then. Dynamite obsession. Lonnie's love for Disney's dinosaur ride at Animal Kingdom is so intense that the duck should probably consider an intervention. Seriously, he has a T-Rex on speed dial. While his enthusiasm is infectious, we remind listeners that riding dinosaur 42 times in a row may lead to excessive roaring and an uncontrollable urge to time travel, and definitely a backache. Ride responsibly. Absent amigos, John and Kevin couldn't join us tonight due to more important commitments. We suspect they're on a secret mission to find the perfect Dole Whip. Their absence is their loss, but the show must go on. Quacktastic content, our podcast is definitely for entertainment purposes only. Any advice, tips, or dino-related conspiracies discussed today are purely for fun. Always do your own research before making travel plans, running races, or adopting a pet velociraptor. Now, fluff up your feathers, grab a snack, and let's get this duck party started. Let's get out of here and quack on.
Good job.
Okay, I think the lawyers hit us up. Molly, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everyone, have a great time. Bye, everybody.
Quaharini.
Bye.
Word.
Bye, Molly.
we lost Molly.
She was like, I'm out.
She's like, I told my really incredibly thoughtful story, and now I'm out of here.
Right.
Mhm.